Yeah.
Do it.
Hey, that's Josh.
Keith, do you want to start us off?
Here we are again, 18 hours later. How's that tonight? You hauled off towards the end there. How's the situation?
Yeah, we hope he's okay. I think he's got an ankle problem. Initially, maybe thought it was a muscle problem, but the good news is I think it was just a twist. So the initial feeling is he should be okay.
When you say okay, thinking for the game next weekend, I guess the last thing you want is someone placing forward because you're so short in that position, suffering any sort of injury at all.
Yeah, but the last thing we want, I think, going into the last week is any type of injury to any player. So we don't have the depth currently to cover that. So fingers crossed he's okay.
And what do you think of the performance today against a very, very strong Atletico side?
Yeah, I thought we had probably a slow start to the game, then a really good period before half-time. From sort of 20 minutes onwards, I thought we were the dominant team. We created a lot of chances in that spell. Joey could have probably got 4 or 5 goals on another day, but it was great to see him in goal-scoring positions and attacking the ball so well in the box. And I think then the game probably changed on the first goal. That was the key moment, and poor from us in terms of organisation from our corner, and then then with the substitutions, the flow of the game changed, and they got renewed energy, and we were fatiguing. So it was a difficult second half.
Sorry to take you back to Alex again, but there was a report today that the club have said, or have told him that he's going nowhere this transfer window. Is that the case? Is that something you're aware of?
No, that's not something I'm aware of. I mean, of course, there's discussions going on all the time that I'm not party to. I have no knowledge of that.
And finally, wide reports that you're close to bringing in Malick Thiaw from AC Milan. Is there anything you can tell us on that?
No, again, nothing, Keith. Been preparing these 2 games the last 2 days, so I'm not updated on everything that's happening. Thank you.
Okay, Misha?
Eddie, how close are you to having what you want in terms of squad, in terms of performance for the start of the season?
No, in terms of squad, no, we've got some work to do, if we can, in the transfer market, because I think that's the only place really that we can get what we need in the next few weeks. So we're, as I've said many times, we're going to be actively trying to bring players in. Within the squad, I think we've got some very, very good players. There's no doubt in the quality. We have an unbalanced squad currently with a few departures, and the numbers coming in the other way haven't quite adjusted to that. So we have work to do in terms of our fitness levels and where the current players are at. I think we're in a good place. I think they needed this back-to-back game this weekend. They needed the 90 minutes, and then we need another good week's training, I think, to be our optimum level for what will be a very tough opening to the Premier League.
You're saying, there is work to do. We know how difficult this transfer window's been for the club. Are you confident you'll get close to what you want come the end of the year?
Yeah, well, I think we will work as hard as we can to achieve that, and that's across the board. That's owners, board members, recruitment team. Everybody's working incredibly hard to get the desired outcome that we are seeking. Some things, to a degree, are out of our control. But as I said, we've got some very, very good players here. There's no doubting the quality of the players and the collective attitude of the group. We're very motivated. I can see that with the group. Today's result, I could see the hurt and pain in the players. So there's no feeling other than we know the importance of next week and starting the Premier League well.
Go Liam, then Ian, please.
Eddie, on Alexander Isak, again, I know you're probably tired of answering these questions, but do you feel that to move on you may have to let him leave the club?
I think, again, that's a decision that I won't make. That will be for other people to make. I think for me, I'm just trying to manage the situation and manage the team, most importantly. Manage the group of players that I'm working with day to day that I love coaching and helping, and we're focusing on Aston Villa. Everything else, to a degree, from my perspective, is not in my control, so it's not on my focus.
Can you control having another conversation with Alex and perhaps changing his mind to go ahead of the Aston Villa game?
If it was that easy, I'd be doing it, and I'd have done it yesterday, but it's not. So I think I'm better off focusing on the players, because Aston Villa game is going to be upon us before we know it. In a blink of an eye, it will be there, and we need to be ready.
Are you confident you'll have another player through the door before that game next week at Villa Park?
Yeah, I don't know. From my perspective, I hope so, but no guarantees.
Cheers.
Eddie, a lot of fans will be heading home today fearing that Newcastle lack a goal threat without Isak. What's your message to them?
Yeah, well, I think in the pre-season games, I think that would be a fair assessment. I don't think I'm thinking any different. I would be in agreement with that, but we can still win football matches, and we need to turn the margins of the little things in our favour. So we need to look across the board at how we can get more goals into the team, how we can score more, and that's always been part of the coach's job, my job, to find a way to win, and that's what we've got to do.
When you came, you of course you successfully transformed Joelinton from a misfiring number 9 into a midfield powerhouse. You said he got in good positions today. You started Anthony Gordon through the middle. Is Joelinton an option if you don't bring anyone else in for next week?
I probably would be reluctant to take Joe away from his now preferred position. I don't think I'll be reinventing him the other way again. I think we have to utilise his strengths, and his strengths are key for the team. When he plays well, invariably the team plays well. So his ball-winning ability, his physicality in midfield, I think we need it there.
Got Joe and then George, please.
Hi Eddie, how's Sven Botman came off for half time? Was there an injury there or just managing minutes?
No, that was the plan with Sven. I think we have to be careful with him. He's picked up a slight groin issue. He's back now. He trained yesterday for the first time, got through 45 minutes. I was delighted with him.
Was that similar to the score last night? He sort of came off half time.
Yeah, both players in similar positions really, where they're physically fit, but they're lacking match action. So we need to not rush their comebacks and push them too hard and then risk further injury. We've got a long season ahead. We're going to need every player to contribute, and they're massive players for us, both of them.
How impressed have you been with Anthony Elanga? He got fans off scenes today a lot of times when there's electric pace. How impressed have you been with this start to the pre-season?
Yeah, I thought he had a good first half today. I thought when we got him the ball early, he showed his 1v1 ability, showed his pace. I thought he was a real threat. So I think it's for us to get to know his game a bit better and for him to understand what we do a little bit better. And I think we'll see a real player that can make a difference and frighten the opposition.
George.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
So most of us at this point asked you sort of how ready Newcastle are. I think last season showed that actually being ready isn't necessarily the most important thing. The top summer was a difficult start, but how ready are you?
I think the players have worked incredibly hard during pre-season. It's been a challenging pre-season. The games we've had have been very difficult. And as I said, the last couple of days, at the moment we don't have 20 players or 22 players that we can put out that gives a really balanced display to both teams. You had Harrison Ashby today playing well as a number 8, but it's not his preferred position. And I think it's always been the case in the teams that I try to build. I think if you have an area of the team that's not quite functioning as it needs to, and no criticism of any individual, because the team needs to function in a certain way for it to perform at its best. We couldn't do that with 2 11s. So we had to try and get the best out of the 2 games. I thought we've done that. But now the priority is just Aston Villa, and we're putting out 1 11 and a squad hopefully that can win the game.
If I ask you, is the team and the club on a bit of a knife edge? Do you know what I mean by that? In the sense that your trophy winners in the Champions League, great coach, great team, made a couple of great signings. On the other hand, Alexander, difficulties in the transfer window, no CEO, no sporting director. Does it feel like the season could go 1 or 2 ways?
I think any season can go 1 or 2 ways. I think I understand the question. I always try to keep a very balanced view on things. It's never as good as you think it is when you feel good, and it's never as bad as you think it is when you feel bad. At the moment, I'm very sort of neutral. I've seen the challenges. I know the challenges that we face. This is new territory for us. But I also believe from those tough moments that you can actually build something even more special if you come out the other side, and that's a big if. So for me, the priority now is the players that we have fit and available, and making sure that they're fully understanding of what's expected of them, of what we need to do, and making sure we're resilient enough to deal with a lot of outside noise, a lot of speculation on us, which through no fault of our own is negative, and we need to cut that out and unite even stronger.
Thank you. We'll go Craig and then Mark, please.
Hi, Eddie. Just to revisit something you said last night, just for a bit of clarity. I think the interpretation of some that Alex refused to train. Can you just clear up, is it more your decision that Alex isn't training with the group and isn't playing?
I thought I was quite clear last night, Craig.
We're not very bright. We spent 10 minutes arguing between ourselves. No, my interpretation was that you've had the conversation with him, and on the back of that, it was your decision, having assessed everything, it's your call that Alex doesn't train and doesn't play, rather than him saying, I'm not. Just for clarity.
That's good timing. Keep that going. I think I said enough last night. I don't really want to go there because I don't think it's fair on either party. I think I did say I want him training and I want him playing for us. So I think by that you can see my want and wish. But from both sides it has to be right.
Not sure I'm clear enough. One last one, Alex. To your mind, are all eventualities still possible? You can't guarantee he's going to be on September the 1st. Likewise, the other way, is everything still in play?
I think everything's at play because I think I've said many times, he is contracted to us, he's our player. The club basically make the decision on his future. I don't know what that will be. Of course, I have a preferred outcome. I want the best and strongest squad possible, but also I want players that really want to play for this football club.
Thank you.
Eddie, there's been quite a lot of talk about players not wanting to come to Newcastle and all this in summer. I think some supporters have been kind of felt a bit beat down by some of that. As a manager, as somebody who's seen players who do want to come and positive players who do want to come, can you kind of offer a positive message about how good this club is and how top class players do want to come?
I think you just look at the squad we have currently and you reel the names off of talented players, unbelievable players, and I love working with them. So I think that in a sense, those players that have come here and trusted me and trusted the coaching team and trusted the club, their careers have benefited from that. I don't think there's many players that have come here and haven't benefited from the experience that Newcastle can give you, and playing in front of these supporters, that's an absolute privilege and an honour. That's never lost on me, playing in this stadium. It's a special place to be. So look, some players have a different choice. Finances play a huge part in that. I've said many times, sat in this seat, we're not the highest players in the league. We're far from it. And that is sometimes reflected in the choices players make. I don't think it's a reflection on the city, on what we're doing here, what we're trying to create, or the football club. We're controlled still by PSR. That is still limiting what we can do, and that's the reality.
Have you got a sort of number of new players you'd like in before the end of the week? I mean, 2, 3, or even if you've got kind of in your head.
Of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be very good at what we're doing. So yeah, we know what we want, but I won't be sharing how many that is with you guys. But we're competitive and we're in the market looking.
Okay, we'll go Kieran, Aaron, and then Charlie quickly just to wrap us up, please.
I think you described last summer as the most difficult summer.
It's a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's even more challenging.
Yeah, of course it is. I think this has been difficult in different ways, but never shied away from a challenge or a difficult situation. It's part of being a Premier League manager these days that everything is very intense and it's very much back page news. So I think when you're as successful as we have been, everything is blown up and multiplied by 10. But I think from my perspective, I always try and take myself out of that. Don't hype up things more than they are and just look at the reality. We need to get the best out of everyone that wants to play for Newcastle. And we'll do our best to create a winning team again.
What would it take for back into the group, you paid your wish clear about wanting him to train. What will you take, I guess, for that?
Well, that's not for me to answer. That's for, that's for him to answer. But yeah, it's probably not, again, worth going into detail with.
Aaron, Eddie was no Joe Willock this weekend. Does that Joe doing this?
Joe's doing well, yeah. We initially, as I said, we feared that he would be out longer term. It did look a nasty injury right at the end of the Tottenham game. Didn't like the way he went down and reacted to the feeling that he got, and it did look like it was painful for him. But fingers crossed, he's recovering well. He's been to see a specialist. The news is pretty good. So a few more weeks and I think Joe will be back.
Charlie, wrap up, please.
Eddie, if you could go into any detail at all, how much do you think the sporting director and CEO situation has impacted the club somehow?
Well, I think my preference would always be that you have your team in place, because that those roles are there for a reason. They add value to any football club. So yes, we're missing two pivotal senior appointments that will make us run better and make us work better as a football club. So it's been a blow for us, but I don't think it's been fatal, because they're very good people that stepped up and taken the responsibility and the workload. And we've been in this position many times, unfortunately, in the last few transfer windows, and by and large, we've come out with very good results. So we're going to have to try and do that again.
Has that impacted sort of selling the club? A lot of fans sort of go back to when the man down the yard with a front-facing figure that could sort of sell Newcastle United. Has that impacted in any way, not having their positions in place?
I don't think it's changed any of the results in terms of recruiting players. I don't think it would have been any different even with those roles filled, because the reasons for not bringing in the players in hasn't been because we haven't had a sporting director or a CEO. It's come down to finances a lot of the time. So no, but I my wish is that those roles are filled, because I think that will make us stronger, make us a more complete football club. They're important roles, I think, for the club to work well.
And just finally, is there any update at all, like when fans can expect that decision to be made on the sporting director or CEO?
Yeah, that's something I'm not focused on. That's for someone else to give an update on that.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.